A young woman steps into an elevator. She presses multiple buttons, looks outside like someone is watching her, and then she disappears. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight's story is one that doesn't just stay in your mind, it lingers in your emotions. The case of Elisa Lam is not just a mystery. It's a deeply human story wrapped in fear, confusion, and unanswered questions. A story that forces you to look beyond what you see and think about what you might be missing. Elisa was 21 years old. At that age, life feels wide open. Every decision feels like it could define your future. Every experience feels important. She was a university student from Canada. Intelligent, thoughtful, and introspective. She wasn't loud or attention-seeking. But she had a voice, and she used it in a different way. She wrote. Through her blog, she shared her thoughts, her struggles, her reflections on life. She didn't hide her emotions. She spoke about pressure, about identity, about the quiet battles that many people fight, but rarely talk about. And that's what made her real. You could read her words and feel like you understood her, even if you'd never met her. This trip to Los Angeles wasn't random. It was part of a bigger journey, one that many young people take at some point. A journey to find yourself, to step away from everything familiar and see who you are without it. She was traveling alone, but she wasn't lost. She was exploring, searching, living. When she arrived in Los Angeles, she checked into the Cecil Hotel. From the outside, it looked like just another building in the city. Busy streets, bright lights, movement everywhere. But inside, it carried a different atmosphere, a quiet heaviness, a history that most people don't see until it's too late. Still, Elisa had no reason to suspect anything. She settled in, explored the area, visited places, stayed in contact with her family. At first, everything followed a normal rhythm. Messages were sent, updates were shared. There was nothing unusual. And then the silence began. At first, it was subtle, a missed message, a delay in response. Then more time passed. No calls, no updates, no activity. And slowly, concern began to grow. Her family felt it first. That quiet instinct that something isn't right. They reported her missing. Authorities stepped in. Search teams were deployed. The hotel was investigated. Every room checked. Every hallway examined. Every possible exit considered. But there was nothing. No signs of struggle. No witnesses. No clear direction. It was as if she had simply vanished. And when something disappears without explanation, the mind begins to fill in the gaps. Days passed, each one heavier than the last, until finally a piece of evidence emerged. The elevator footage. A short video that would change everything. In it, Elisa enters the elevator. At first, everything seems ordinary. She presses several buttons. Stands still. Waits. But the doors don't close. Seconds pass. She steps forward, slightly, looking out into the hallway. Then something shifts. It's subtle at first. A change in posture. A slight hesitation. Then it becomes more noticeable. She steps back inside. Presses more buttons. Quickly this time. Almost urgently. The doors still don't close. She leans out again. Looking left. Then right. As if checking whether someone is there. But no one appears. No footsteps. No shadows, no movement, and yet her reaction suggests otherwise. Her body language becomes tense, uncertain. She moves in and out of the elevator. At one point, she presses herself against the wall, as if trying to stay out of sight. Her hands move in unusual ways, not aggressive, not playful, just disconnected from what we expect, like she's responding to something we can't see. Or something she feels, but we don't understand. Time passes. The elevator still doesn't move. The doors remain open. And in that moment, it feels like time itself has slowed down, like something is wrong, but no one knows what. Eventually, she steps out, walks away. The doors finally close. And just like that, she's gone. That footage spread quickly. Millions watched it. People replayed it over and over, trying to understand what they were seeing. Some felt fear. Others felt confusion. Many try to find meaning in every movement. But beneath all the theories, there was one simple truth. A young woman was in distress, and no one was there to help her. While the video was being analyzed around the world, something else was happening inside the hotel. Guests began to complain. The water tasted strange. It looked darker than usual. There was an odor. At first, it was dismissed. A maintenance issue. Something that could be fixed. But as complaints increased, concern grew. Staff decided to investigate. They went to the roof to check the water tanks. What they found ended the search. Elisa was inside one of the tanks. The same tank supplying water to the hotel. The discovery was devastating. Not just because she had been found, but because of the way she was found. Alone, hidden, in a place no one expected. Authorities conducted an investigation. The official conclusion was that her death was accidental, with factors related to her mental health. It was revealed that Elisa had been dealing with bipolar disorder, and there were signs that she may not have been taking her medication consistently during her trip. This matters, because mental health doesn't always look the way people expect. It doesn't always appear obvious. Sometimes it shows up quietly, in confusion, in fear, in moments that don't make sense from the outside. The elevator footage, when viewed through that lens, begins to feel different, less mysterious, more human, a person possibly overwhelmed by something internal, a mind struggling to process reality, a moment where perception and reality no longer align. But even with this explanation, questions remain. How did she reach the roof? How did she access the tank? Why didn't anyone see her? Some answers exist. Others don't. And that uncertainty is what keeps this story alive. But there's something deeper here. Something more important than the unanswered questions. Because behind all the mystery was a real person. Elisa wasn't just a case. She wasn't just a video. She was someone who felt deeply. Someone who was searching for meaning. Someone who was trying to understand herself, just like many of us. And in the end, that's what makes this story so powerful. Not the mystery, but the humanity. Because it reminds us of something we often forget. That people around us may be struggling, even when we can't see it. That moments of confusion or fear are not always visible. That silence can sometimes mean more than words. And most importantly, that compassion matters. Checking on someone matters. Understanding matters. Because sometimes the difference between isolation and support is just one moment, one conversation, one person paying attention. If there's anything to take from this story, it's this: don't be quick to judge what you don't understand. Be patient with people. Be aware. Be kind. Because you never truly know what someone else is going through. If the story made you feel something, take a moment, reflect, and if you're comfortable, share your thoughts in the comments. Not just theories, but understanding. And if you believe stories like this matter, not just for the mystery, but for the message, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Because sometimes the most important stories aren't the ones that give us answers. They're the ones that teach us how to see each other a little more clearly.